podcast like that.
That is literally how we're starting the podcast. Welcome to
I will.
I was gonna say
End the podcast.
that's
No,
racist.
it doesn't say me saying the
Okay.
highly controversial thing I said. It's just your reactions to it. So that is going to be how we start the podcast this week. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. The Unpaid Nobody's podcast.
Hello.
My girlfriend's here.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I live.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, she's been honestly more into the beef than me, which is insane because I created this podcast.
Last time I saw her, you were locked in.
Dude,
You had all the conspiracy theories.
First off, she's been locked in since like that, but like it's been a point, and it's like
I just do not like Drake. I don't trust him either. I just don't trust. There's very many famous men that I don't trust, and Jake is just up there.
Yeah, that's fair. He deserves to be up there.
Honestly, that's the only reason I got her to listen to Future is because I'm like, well, he doesn't trust Drake, and he made 2 albums about it, and she's like, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Like,
This is a good selling point.
Yeah.
I like that.
so yeah, in case anyone wants to know what we're talking about this week.
Been all over the news. It's the only thing on social media.
Purvis, you and me have been talking about hip hop every day for
Oh wow.
a decade now, maybe longer. Is this the craziest things we've ever seen?
It's got to be up there. Yes. It's the craziest thing we've ever seen. Yes.
I've ever seen is the Kendrick Drake beef. The war that is happening at this point. Like
It was like fairly calm, and then that like Friday happened where it was like back to back to back, and I was like,
12 hours after we ended our last podcast.
it's like my heart.
Insane shit happens.
Yes,
like
definitely one of the craziest things.
Before we open our mouths.
This is the actual world war that we have. This is
It went from a cold war to a hot war, and it is. Oh my god.
I'm enjoying every second of it.
It really is. Oh my god. Do we want to run through the news?
The news, yes.
Because there's some stuff coming out that we should talk about,
Yes.
but then we're just gonna get right into it. Like,
Just get right into it. Absolutely. We actually do have a lot of albums coming out, and a lot of good albums. Every album coming out, I believe, is a big one.
2 that I'm like hell. 3, and I'm like hell yeah.
Yes.
4.
That's what I said. Okay, starting off, we have Future surprise news, like literally today or yesterday, I'm pretty sure, that he is dropping a mixtape this Friday. The name has not been announced.
Do you think
It
it's
is
beef related?
honestly, funny enough, I didn't say it like because we don't really have social media right now, but one of the interesting thing is people are saying it could actually be a part of like a beef with Gunna. Because from the tweets he was saying was like, screw your album, my mixtape is better. There's only one other album that he could be talking about on Friday. So, who knows? But since we just kind of brought it up, Gunna is also dropping 101 this Friday. Roddy Ricch is going to be on it.
It's a pretty stacked set list.
Yeah,
but
it was a couple people.
it's Gunna. Like,
Look, I will talk about it after.
I know you went to his concert.
The
You're really
concert
right
was
now.
good. The concert was
No, but
great.
He just, I didn't like Gunna before the YSL shit. Like, you would.
That is fair.
I'm
Hey,
like,
Young Thug forgave him. That's enough for me.
Okay, that's true. That does free Jeffrey, but
Free
at
Jeffrey.
the same time, I've never
It's
liked
fair.
him. It was. I remember when him and Little Baby were the thing. Remember together? Remember when they were dropping out?
Yeah, I mean, I passed Little Baby, so I can understand you passing Gunna. I'm not upset with it.
I mean, I liked Little Baby for a minute, but that was
He got repetitive.
It
Yeah,
got
it
repetitive
is.
very fast. Just like Da Baby. Insane how one of them was hot and then the other one was hot, and now I don't really listen to either. Like,
Well, one is still a better person. Barely, but better.
Marginally.
we count those. It's a small win.
But yeah, after Gunna
But yeah.
won, we have my birthday present from the UK.
We have
We
have-
so too.
this is gonna be big. This is gonna be fun.
I'm not going to listen to it more than once, to be honest with you, because that's how I am with most modern Chief Keef projects.
but that one listen is gonna hit,
It's gonna be very loud. It's gonna be very annoying.
and we're gonna see it live.
Yeah, we are.
So
I'm
there we go.
very excited. I'm very, very excited.
Absolutely.
We have an old head dropping.
Yeah. We have Ghostface Killer coming out with Set the Tone. A lot of big names coming out with his album. A lot of older big names coming out with this. So this is going to be pretty dope. I'm excited for this. And then we have Conway the Machine, some Griselda. This is our second or third Griselda this year.
Yeah.
SFK. And of course, the Griselda Fiends will be there.
Yeah.
They will be present.
I'll listen to Conway the Machine. Maybe this
Yes.
weekend after I calm down. But like,
If a diss doesn't come out,
yeah,
you never know.
What if Sosa disses them?
Jesus, no, it's just too much noise.
Like,
He does. He is, again, there's certain people that have shooters and certain people that are shooters in this diss. It's important to know which is which. But yes, moving on to the singles. I didn't.
all my shooters speak Spanish.
Yes, all my shooters do speak Spanish. She's like, where's that even from? It's Brockhampton. I didn't write it down, but we do have Chance the Rapper is dropping a single either this week or next week. I believe it's called Together, if I recall correctly.
It's not Buried Alive.
Oh, crap. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. I can find it.
It's in our Discord.
Yeah, I sent
Chance
it
the
all
Rapper
over the press.
threatening to drop another album.
No, not threatening. don't say that.
Oh, it's Together. Together is what he's talking
Yes,
about.
Together.
Yes.
Yes.
Buried Alive got released. I'm sorry. I'm tripping. That was my fault.
No, it's okay. Super excited for this. We need someone to replace the big three. No, let me stop. Anyway,
No, Chance the Rapper.
he will not be in contention. But anyway, we have Ice Spice coming out with "Give Me a Light."
Now, Big
Because-
Three. No, I'm kidding.
A New York big three. No. We also have Rich the Kid coming out with "Bandman" because that's a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure is this the
huge
one
on
that's supposed to be
Carnival,
working with
right?
Kanye? Yeah, this is
yeah.
the one that's releasing an album with
Yeah,
Kanye.
he's like, wasn't he dropped by his label like 3 years ago for like not doing anything, and now he's on Carnival, and now everyone cares. I don't know.
I don't know. There was some interview that I watched that basically he was saying like he got out of jail or something and he found a phone that had every celebrity's contact and he just started reaching out to people and like executives trying to get his album pushed. That's an interview that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Insane.
Moving on from that, we also have the Queen. Megan Thee Stallion is dropping. I don't know how to say it. Is it boa? Like boa constrictor,
Yeah.
constrictor, something like that?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
third snake themed.
There you go.
go.
So there we go. I didn't think about the other ones.
I've been telling, like, I remember I said when his came out, I'm like, is anyone noticing a snake theme? And you were like, you're crazy, stop it. Like, and I'm like, there's a
Sounds like
third
me.
One. There's a third snake song.
And I'm still calling you crazy. But yes.
It's gonna be snakes.
Hey, I'm here for it. And I hope there are like 5 Drake disses because she does hate Drake.
Drake does rhyme very easily with snake.
Interesting. I see the vision. I see the vision.
Coincidence?
I think
not.
not. But yes. Moving on. The last thing we have is Central C out of England. That British mate.
Yeah.
He also is coming out with a single. Pretty excited for that. And it seems like he's kind of coming in rotation, at least for me personally. And he's got a lot of big features recently, so I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Big Chav activities.
Yes, absolutely. But literally, that's all the releases. It's a pretty straightforward week, but a lot of good music, and I think a lot of people will be satisfied.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that's gonna be drowned out by any given single if it drops.
Yes. Just please do it once.
Okay.
We're
so,
not done yet.
Before we get to the big story of the week,
Yes.
I do not want to talk about the Travis project with Kanye. I don't care.
Oh, you heard about it?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, I've heard about it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm still on Reddit. Like,
Okay.
A little bit. Like, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's probably just a single. I think it's probably not even gonna happen.
Honestly, don't even
And
think it's
also,
music.
Like, I hope it doesn't because I would dislike if Travis worked with Kanye again.
There hasn't been clarification. I would say this. I don't know if it's music related. The only reason I say that there's a possibility that it couldn't be is because he's also releasing like a bunch of shoes, clothes, stuff right now. Like he's very active in other fields outside of music.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I really don't know. And it's just terrible timing because right now on Twitter it's trending that Ruby Rose and him hooked up when she was possibly a minor. Which I feel like is going to be a repeating theme with all this stuff.
Yeah, that's why I put all my stock in Run the Jewels. Like,
It was a solid investment. I put it in Chance, and he just tanked my money. But he could come back.
He just got divorced. And you know what? I bet it's going to end up being a good divorce.
It honestly, it probably will
We
be.
shouldn't. Honestly, the party tomorrow should be Chance's divorce themes.
No, don't do that. When my friends are bringing her new boyfriend to your party, it's gonna be divorce themed.
Chance,
Yeah, your birthday's gonna be about divorce.
Christian and Sin are coming. And they get married in 7 days.
Yeah, maybe we should do a divorce theme. There's several people who'd be uncomfortable with that.
Okay.
Brandon's just here for the chaos. It's his birthday.
I do love chaos. But yeah,
Fair enough.
I do want to hear Purvis though, because you saw 2 artists in concert
did.
last night, and the one you didn't write down is the one I give a shit about. So
I apologize. I do apologize. I got to see Flo Milli open for Gunna yesterday, and it was a great concert. Honestly, in terms of
I don't doubt it. If I had if I had time and energy, I would have gone because it was only $20.
yeah, it was literally $25 plus and I don't even think the fees kicked in. It was like $30 at the end of it. It was crazy. But yes, Live Nation has a deal going on this week. It is still going on probably when you hear this. So if you're interested in concerts, I would definitely look into it. So I decided to get the Gunna concert tickets. I've been wanting to go for a couple of months, but I just didn't want to pay like $100. But phenomenal show. The vibes were very similar to when we saw Future in terms of like the demographic, the crowd, the energy that was going on. It was great. It was a lot of fun. A very mixed crowd. Everyone was into the music. He started, or let me start with the opener. Flo Milli killed it. Let me just say that, like right off the bat. She was phenomenal. I didn't recognize all the songs, unfortunately, just because I haven't really dived into her discography. But I did catch the end, and it was all the like TikTok songs, or like the trending songs.
Yeah.
Phenomenal show. Absolutely great. She had dancers up there with her. I don't know. She interacted with the crowd. It was a really good opener. And I know this is Gunna's like 4th stop or something like that. The tour just started, and the first place they went to, it was a lot of negative reception from the crowd. And I don't remember the specific details, but like it got to the point where like I think she left the stage. So I'm glad to see the crowd was like in tune with it, celebrating with her, having a good time.
Well, that's good.
And then it was like a maybe 10-15 minute break, and then Gunna came out. Like this Yeti costume came out, and then he ended up being up on one of the balconies in the Aragon. And he literally walked through the crowd. Like he walked through the crowd and was rapping. It was very interactive with the crowd. A lot of oldies. He killed it. He played like Top Off. He played Fuck You Mean. He played Hot remix. He did push a P. And he specifically said for the ladies we're pushing P. But yes, it was a great show. He did 2 tracks from the new album. Sounded great. No complaints at all. It was dope. I've said it before, and I know I don't have a very strong stance on it, and a lot of people that would back me up. But Gunna's flow is amazing. I think Gunna's flow is one of the better ones in terms of just flow and how it actually sounds, because like he doesn't focus too much on the lyrics, and I know that's what hip-hop is, but it does sound great how it all flows together. So I enjoyed it personally. I loved all of it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Maybe
but that's
I'll listen to Baby Future.
I get you into Future, I can get you into Gunna.
Were people like
I just-
telling security like when they were passing blunts?
No one cared. Like literally, funny enough, and I don't want to expose myself too much, but Andrew and I, that's what we were standing like right in the middle where all the machines are and all the DJs are. and the security guard like guarding the entrance to that little area. And like we leaned over, and he was like, "Do you care if we smoke?" And he was just like, "Just step a little further up." So no, they didn't care.
Okay.
Like they didn't care at all. Everybody there was smoking and drinking. So good vibes.
Good. So you would recommend people see?
Highly recommend. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're ready to dive in.
I need to pull up all the lyrics.
Yeah, I have.
Like I want to look at it.
I'm also like, I was also like, do I bring up Euphoria and push-ups too? Like, is that going to be relevant to the whole thing? Like,
We technically covered it, but it is relevant. So there's a good chance we might go back to it.
yeah.
You never know.
Okay.
We should.
So,
Yeah.
What do we want to start then?
since first, you know, a lot has happened.
Do we start at control or do we start at like that?
Yeah, we just started like, let's start with, okay, so there used to be this show called Degrassi.
That's good.
And we all hate the disabled kid from that show. Like,
Crazy that he was an actor before this. Absolutely insane. I don't care.
hated actor.
But yes, I guess we just started like that then, and to go from there.
Let's start at 616.
Okay, where we
So-
left off.
This was literally where we left off. Because we talked about Euphoria last week. And Euphoria was
Banger.
nuts. And, you know, my favorite part in Euphoria was like back to back. I like that record. But I'm going to get back to that for the record. And
And
then he did. And then he did.
He did.
Released a second song, The Animal.
it sounds like, at least for 616, to me personally, and I don't know, I'm not in the rapper's heads, but it was a decent break between Euphoria and How We
Yeah, it
Get
was
Family
like warning.
Matters. Exactly. And so I feel like 616 was the warning. It literally came out the day before Family Matters, and it was because I feel like 616, the whole message of it, in my opinion, my main takeaway was like, we have moles in OVO. Like, we know stuff, we have evidence. Like, just be careful what you're about to do because we know things.
Can't Tootsie slide up out of this one.
Literally.
Yeah.
But like that was the main takeaway for me. And I feel like it's very obvious what are the big hitters and what's like, I don't want to say filler, but like the songs that did make it to streaming are very obvious.
No,
Like,
they
okay,
definitely
this
did
is
it
the route.
on purpose, you know?
Right.
But I
And
think the thing I
616
like-
did not make streaming.
Yeah. The thing I respect so much more about Kendrick, which is going to be a long-running theme of this episode, is that when his stuff just like kind of went out unofficially, he still stood on it, right?
Mm.
Like 616, I'm always going to call it that. I'm sorry. I know it's 616, but I see those three numbers and I go 616.
That's fine.
It's a comic book thing. But like, it's not like push-ups were just like leaked and there was like a whole debate over like, is this AI? Is it not? Is it real? Is it not?
Right.
This one, like, there was never a question of, is it legitimate? It just was only on Instagram. So I re-downloaded Instagram to listen to it.
Okay.
And yeah, it was the warning shot. It was the, you know, Euphoria was like a full-on jab. And I still think Euphoria is probably, it might be my favorite of the songs.
Okay.
But this one was like, you know, the warning shot. It was talking about, you know, we have moles in XO. He knows more than he knows. And yeah, it's just like, to be careful if he goes to war. And then
Very
we
true.
let to
Yes.
marinate on that all day. All day.
Had a whole day to think about it. This man woke up. It was Tuesday, I'm pretty sure, right? The
No,
third was a
Friday.
Tuesday. Oh no, it was a Friday.
Third
No,
was
no,
Friday.
third was Friday. Euphoria was a Tuesday. Sorry. This man woke up on Friday morning and literally was like, "All right, you're probably gonna drop later," and he knew because he had the mole. Like, look, don't do nothing stupid. Because which was interesting to me. Obviously, I've been filled with 10,000 conspiracy theories at this point.
100%.
And it seems like if you actually do break it down to like, oh, this is a boxing match. These are rounds. Like, this is round one. This is round two. It's very obvious. Like, round two was like the Euphoria. And he did mention Whitney's name. And I didn't even catch it at first. And this is literally Drake was like, I mean,
because it's a Whitney and Bobby. It's a Whitney
Bobby
Houston
Whitney, yeah.
reference.
right,
It's like
exactly.
you don't know
It didn't even click at first.
And there's a bunch of stuff in this songs that when you go back,
It's like, oh, it makes sense now.
what did you think when 616 dropped? What was your reaction to that?
I was just excited. I was excited that there were spies. I love a bit of espionage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also,
So-
feel free to talk about Euphoria because you weren't on last week's episode because you're not on the podcast.
I think Euphoria might be my favorite, but I think that's mainly because
Just the hating.
yeah, it just switches up. He just goes in. He just really seems
I hate the way that you.
like, yes, sometimes you just see someone and you just hate everything about them. And sometimes you have good reason to. And I think, played it solidly.
Do you have a favorite line or part or anything like that that stuck with you?
Part. It's like, then tell them where you get your abs from. Like that.
Oh yeah.
There's so many good ones, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
very
so you'll
good.
stomach that and then tell them where you got your abs from. Yeah.
Oh, what a bar.
I really like extortion my middle name as soon as you jump off that plane, bitch. I'm allergic to lame shit. Only you like being famous.
Which is like so true. It's just
Mwah.
that's so hard. He said,
This one is full of just delicious
Right.
effects.
Yeah. And listen, he did in fact know some shit that would make Gunna wanna look like a saint.
literally, literally. I remember because like we're living through this. So in the moment, like
Amazing. And I just
Right.
love being able to be dialed in, have a podcast to talk to.
I just remember you texting me, and just like, how do you feel about like him bringing up other names? Like he brought up Lil Yachty, he brought up Sexy Red, and I remember like, oh, like I don't like this part, or like this feels a little weird. Fast forward, and it's just like, nah, it was perfect. It was perfect. But yeah,
My God. So yeah, it was nuts to learn that there were spies in OVO and like
which we'll touch
funny
base
'cause,
on
like, that
later.
will come back, especially when we get to the Heart Part 6.
That's literally what I was about to say. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, I also think it's just interesting that, like, because I think throughout the whole thing, Kendrick has just been warning him not to take this further, a little gently.
Yeah.
And I think he, for some reason, to me, it feels like giving a lot of grace to say, like, don't push this further. Also, to, like, suggest, like, that you have spies. Usually, you want to
Yeah.
keep spies secret.
Yeah.
So I feel like he gave him a lot of room to back down. I think more than anyone would actually give the real enemies.
Yeah.
So
And like, what's yeah, I was gonna say, even going off of that, I feel like Drake himself didn't realize how much ammo Kendrick had.
That had to have been what happened, right?
Because in reality, and I guess we might as well go into it because it's right after that. We got Family Matters later that day.
Yeah.
And
it was
like,
wild.
right.
I
Family Matters hit.
Yeah, Family Matters was insane. Like some of the bars on there are nuts.
Yes. It was the first time I think in the entire rap beef where I legitimately was like, hey, Drake might kind of got it. Like, because we didn't think he was going to be able to fight back. I think the way we discussed it last week, and it's not rocket science. Jasper, we know you hate Drake.
I'm just gonna say I told you so, but also yes.
Right. We know you didn't like Drake. But Brandon and I definitely considered like Drake can punch back, but can he actually
because
keep up?
we actually think about this stuff.
And so like it was a true like moment. It was like, hey, Drake can fight back. And the way it was released, I understand that these are the two head of the game right now. Because Cole backed out. So we'll just say
By the
those are the
way,
two
winner. Like
winner, biggest winner out of all this, hands down. It's very obvious these are the two heads, and so I just feel like their approach to the genre and to their own careers are very different. Where Kendrick is literally, here's a link, this is my diss, and like that's it. Drake made an entire music video with multiple parts with like symbolism in every part. This man took the Good Kid, Mad City van and crushed it. He went to that Chinese restaurant in Toronto that everybody's been talking about. Like, there's layers to it visually, and I feel like Drake might have approached it. It was like, this is the home run. This is the grand slam. I'm gonna drop this, and this is it.
Listen, this was Drake's back to back. Like this was like I love the whole package of it. Like I love that it came with like the video with like the crushing the Good Kid, Mad City band.
The Instagram post that had the Buried Alive interlude remix. I don't know if you heard it.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
It might be worth listening to.
But like there was also like some really good bars in this.
Yes.
Like just acting like an activist. It's make believe. Don't even go back to your hood and plant no money trees.
Which is, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because like there is some truth to that, but right before that, he calls us slaves, and it's like, this might be a misstep.
Yeah,
and it comes back.
Yeah, no, he definitely like. Because here's the thing, like even in this, it's clearly like for you doing boxing metaphors, just like a wild haymaker from Drake that lands, right?
Yes.
It's still not perfect because he's still not just calling out Kendrick when that is clearly the guy who's dog walking him, right?
Yes.
Like, you know,
I don't want to say distracted, but yes.
Because The Weeknd and Future have at this point, but like, who are we talking about?
Right. It very clearly should have been, and I get Drake is in a position where he has to respond to everything. I don't want to say it was a 20v1 and agree with him, but to be fair, before Metro and Future dropped the album, no one really would have thought it was going to be Drake against all. We were calling Drake Thanos for a good week. We was like, why are these people going against Drake right now? Like, what's going on? So he dedicates a whole part of the whole second part, which I think is the hardest part of the song, has nothing to do with Kendrick. He doesn't even mention Kendrick. He goes at The Weeknd, he goes at Metro, he goes at A$AP Rocky. Like the whole middle part isn't even for Kendrick. And like I understand his position, he does have to approach everybody. He does have to shoot back at everybody. But you're right. Kendrick is all that should matter right now.
Yeah.
It's the only crosshair that should matter right now.
It's much more unfocused.
Exactly. And your song's going to come out better when it's more focused.
Yeah,
it seems like you're spiraling.
It's really long. Yeah.
But he did go at Kendrick.
No, he did.
The day free.
The day free bar. I think the bar where he talks about like, oh, you're the Black Messiah, but you wiped up a mixed queen, and then you say it feels uncomfortable saying it next to you. Like,
there are some other
You say it.
questionable things in here.
Self-esteem.
yeah.
Yes.
How does that? It's vanilla.
You know. Anyway, so
Cream.
yeah.
I mean,
Like to lionize white women around you. Anyway.
There's a line from part 3 that I think is real dumb, followed
Which
by a
one?
line that's equally questionable. It's the very start. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. Where's your uncle at? Because I want to talk to the man of the house. It's like, really?
Yeah.
so
You want to
I
go
do
that
have-
direction with this? That's like on the J. Cole level of like, ew, like I don't know about that.
okay, so I was gonna say it is a reference to Auntie Diaries.
Diaries.
So it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
where are you going with this?
Also, the Grammy thing is hilarious because he's complaining about Kendrick being like critically good, and it's like, all right,
Because
Mr. Commercial
it's like
success,
it's not like Drake's The Weeknd who doesn't
No.
even submit his shit to the Grammys.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Drake is submitting, campaigning, and trying to get that statue every year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
I think the line is more of a shot where, like, I understand the Grammys don't matter at the end of the day. I think it is right.
Person, yeah,
Exactly. I think more of it, and it just fits within the flow of the song.
yeah,
I think the main point of him saying that it is true. Kendrick, and he has earned it, to be fair. But anytime Kendrick drops, the world does stop, and it's like, what does he have to say? And so sometimes it does kind of give off that persona. I feel like a lot of times throughout this diss, Drake thinks he's responding to Kendrick, but he's responding to TikToks. He's responding to Twitter.
yeah.
He's responding to trolls. He's not actually responding to Kendrick. Kendrick doesn't care about this, but Twitter does.
Yeah.
And it is easily a Twitter take where like a Drake stan will say, oh, Kendrick opened his mouth, give him a Grammy. Because That's what you do as a troll on Twitter.
No, and like this is I don't want to. FD Singifier has talked about the beef, and this was about push-ups, right? But
Okay.
it was more. It was like Drake. Kendrick wrote Euphoria for Drake. Drake wrote push-ups for Drake fans. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference in the approach here. I just think this Family Matters gets to a point where it's like, no, this is a direct, like this is more direct.
Yeah.
This is more
These are real
with
shots.
it, And I do think, like, once again, like I think because, like, once again, like the nature of disses have changed so much. This has just been the ongoing conversation ever since the life of Adidon. And I think, like, in an old school bars way, I think, like, there's some really admirable stuff here. But I think, like, in the new school, like, what information are you revealing? It's like everything Drake reveals is just from Kendrick's albums. Like,
What's
well, like so the uncle thing, that's a reference to Anti-Diaries.
It is.
He talks shit about his dad getting robbed by Top Dog, but like that was in Duckworth. He like, and then it makes you draw the line. It's like, what information does he actually have? Because it seems like most of it is just like he talks about the shit with Kendrick being molested, which is just a misunderstanding of
the
yeah. So it's like, what do you really have here, right? Part of me almost thinks that like the real allegations on this that he levies against Kendrick is just him misunderstanding the cover of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, like, because I think that is Whitney on the cover with him.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's tough. I don't want to give Drake too much praise.
Give him
I would
all the
say
credit you can here because it's not coming anymore.
I will say this. Because of Drake's approach, and I mentioned this earlier, it is a very commercial-like approach. It is meant to do numbers. It is meant to do sales. And the dirt that he digs up to throw on Kendrick is meant to be that like wow factor.
Yeah.
Day Free is like, I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't in Mr. Morale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Day
Well,
Free thing was
like,
Mr. Morale.
Finding out your son isn't yours, that's crazy.
Yeah, not...
that's crazy.
And I also think the way that he was able to interpolate his own music into that,
man,
like Shake That Ass for Drake, and now Shake That Ass for Free. Ooh, that's
right. Like that's a
is,
bar.
Like there are like just like some bars on here, but like this is Drake's comfort zone. Like this is the thing he is best at.
I'm gonna bring that up later.
Yeah, we'll bring this up later. And even like if we're talking about making hits, I think there's a song that we'll bring up later that I think kind of overshadows him. Because I will say this, and this is, for this and the follow-up to this, both of them kind of got drowned out because they're just very...
It's a lot.
Like... right, and I get it. It is what it is. Like, and I'm happy that it is what it is. But it's like, I'm not gonna listen to this shit. Like, I'm probably not gonna listen to Family Matters or Meet the Grams on the regular basis.
I would not be listening to Meet the Grams in any scenario.
But yeah, so it is wild.
So yeah,
I know you're also a certified Drake hater. What did you think about this?
I thought it was actually, I thought Drake did decent, but I think we had discussed like how disses were kind of Drake's thing. So I think it was like, oh, yes, he is fighting back, and it's like he's going through it for his throat in a way. It does feel still, like you said, very commercialized, very kind of palatable, but I did think it was a decent diss.
It was a shift because like when you hear things like your son's not yours, or you hear things like domestic violence, I don't know about y'all, but I froze.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
no, we froze.
Like, what's going on?
Is that allowed?
Literally, it's just like, Kendrick, fight back. And he did.
Yeah. And Drake was up for 15 minutes. Like,
yes, it was literally under an hour.
And I
And what I do genuinely love
Mhm.
this is music that they're making like right now. It is very in the moment. They are actually reacting to direct lyrics that are thrown at them. And like one thing I wanted to throw out was like the cease and desist. Because even in Family Matters, he says a cease and desist is for hoes. Can't listen to lies that come out your mouth. You called the Tupac estate and begged them to sue me to get that shit down. He's referring to them taking down Taylor Made. And it was a direct response to Kendrick saying that you put in a cease and desist about like that. So it's like I love how they actually it's a true battle. It's a real one for one punch.
It's seeing it happening in real time,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And like, I think there might have been like some groundwork being laid. I think we're seeing it in like real time, but I think like there is like some planning behind here, especially like when you think about like how many of the lyrics, like when you go back and listen to them, like
Makes it
yeah,
on Kendrick's side.
On Kendrick's side.
There is one.
I don't
There
know.
is one that I really like, but it's not lyrical; it's musical. Like I
Okay.
like that. So the first beat in Family Matters is
Mhm.
teased at the end of Push-Ups.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even catch that.
yeah, it's teased at the end of. It's the same beat, so it's not lyrical. It's not as cool as Kendrick, especially because
But that-
like.
That's
so
real.
something I want to bring up, and I want everyone's opinion on this. Like Kendrick started Euphoria, which I think was really like like that was like the first shot across the bow. Euphoria
Mhm.
was like they're on the ship. Like this is
Like that was the invitation.
Yeah.
Like into the ring.
100%, right? And the first thing that you hear on Euphoria is like is Richard Pryor talking backwards. And what he's saying is everything they say about me is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think this means now?
Well, the actual clip, it goes on to say like everything about me they say about me is true. I'm a fake. I'm a fraud. I'm a
Right.
phony. Like all
There's
that
more
stuff.
to it.
And that ties into like the whole culture vulture thing that
Yeah,
goes
but
throughout the
what
track.
is the meaning of it being played backwards? Is it just because Kendrick's weird? Like, because Kendrick is weird.
I mean,
Kendrick is
Kendrick,
weird.
you
and
can.
Kendrick does a lot of backwards stuff throughout.
I was
his
literally about to
album.
say, "Damn" is backwards. You
But
can
that-
play "Damn"
but,
backwards.
But like, damn's the one thing though. So like, name something other than damn.
I feel like that's enough.
The beat from Money Trees is Beach House backwards.
Yeah, but I don't think that counts. That's a very common
Wait,
sample.
what happened?
What
I miss?
So the beat to Money Trees is a reverse. It's a flip sample of a song by the band Beach House that then has a beat laid over it. It's literally
Oh,
just they took
Interesting.
an excerpt from the instrumental and then just flipped it.
But like, that's a very common sampling technique. Like,
No, it is.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forbidden Fruit featuring Kendrick Lamar backwards. Like,
Yeah.
Banger.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I think like that was him kind of just getting ahead of it and being like, to me, I was like, okay, he knows that there's some heavy shit that's going to be said that probably isn't true.
Mhm.
Which, and maybe
I mean-
maybe I'm just hoping the shit that was said about Kendrick is true.
I mean, the thing is, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rachel.
And also, I think it just gives more, like, obviously, like with the OVO, the spy and OVO. So Kendrick knows everything that Drake. It feels like Kendrick knows everything that Drake is about to do.
Yeah.
He knows the next step.
He knows his next step. He knows,
Yeah.
like, someone's probably feeding him the lyrics of whatever, and he knows, like, yeah, okay, he's gonna talk about my family next. Like, he warned him not to.
Yeah.
And he warned
That
him
is
not to
true.
talk about his family because I think he knew he already wrote a song to talk about his family.
And he responded in the same family
And it's like,
topic.
don't talk about my family. Don't lie about my family. And I think, yeah, he could have just said that to throw people off. But
Yeah.
also it's like, don't. But
Yeah.
part of that was he called him out for, like, misinterpreting Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
It's like, you
Mhm.
don't even understand this.
Yeah.
Don't make up lies about my family because you can't understand my record.
Yeah, that's like a direct lyric in Euphoria.
Very, very true.
Misinterpreted Mr. Morale, and that's how you're arriving at everything.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting. And, like, either way, someone who knows what's going to be said about them either knows how to prepare for that or throw people off of that. And
hmm
Yeah.
either way, it's like Kendrick
Did
has
both.
the upper hand.
He definitely, I think he did both masterfully.
Yeah.
Because, shall we move on?
But that's what I was gonna say. I do think Kendrick plans it out. I don't think Drake did. Because there's one last thing I will point out, and it's the last thing I promise I'll drop it. It's the second time I noticed in the Drake lyrics where he literally goes like, "Oh, it makes sense now," where it doesn't feel like Drake has planned this out. I have felt like in this debate, the fact that Meet the Grams, which we'll get into right after this, came out within an hour, he is already a step ahead. He knows the next step. There's several instances, and he does it in Euphoria in one line. I can't remember it right now, but I am looking at the lyrics for Family Matters right now. It's the second time in the disc that he's saying like, "Oh shit, it makes sense now. Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike." It's stuff like that where it's like, have you not already planned ahead? You should already think about the next moment. You are literally telling the viewers, the fans, the people who are interacting with this, just like, "Oh, something just clicked." It's just like, "Oh, it just clicked. You were molested, so that's why you're talking about pedophilia."
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I will say something I thought was definitely happening was I thought Kendrick was absolutely baiting Drake with the Michael comparison. Especially because, like, with I'm Not Like Us, he just drops the pretense and calls him a pedophile. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it'd be like, yeah, you like Mike? Like, you want to be white? You want to touch kids? Like,
it all makes sense.
Like, I definitely thought that is where it was going, and it did it. Like, but that's fine, because it went insane.
Yeah. I was looking
Jasper
back at the intro line to Euphoria again, and I was reading about it, and apparently Michael Jackson played the Wiz, like the wizard in The Wiz, like the Scarecrow. And then with that, Drake also performed in a childhood version of The Wizard of Oz as a youth. So the whole like Michael Jackson thing, it carries throughout, and like it ties back to like Drake's past, but I don't know.
Man, who knew being compared to Michael Jackson would have been your downfall?
Oh,
I did.
But anyway.
Okay. All right.
Meet the Grams.
So,
an hour later,
the whole world stops. We stop what we're doing. We watch it. Next one. They're in order.
And then we get Meet the Grams within an hour. And like, we can literally put up timestamps because in the Discord, losing our minds.
Losing our minds in our Discord. And yeah, Meet the Grams is he just skins Drake alive for 7 minutes over an Alchemist beat. And
oh, Jesus.
Nuts.
I've never seen a diss come to this. The breakdown of a song, it's literally a letter to his son, a letter to his parents, a letter revealing that he's hiding a daughter, and then a letter to Drake himself. And those are the four verses.
Yeah.
That's Meet the Grams.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I just truly appreciate how Kendrick has just been really, I think Kendrick's point throughout all of this is just like, Drake, you're just a kind of a shit. He's just like a shit person. It's like, at the very least, you're annoying. At the very worst, you're just a horrible, toxic person. And to just call someone's mother out, to call just a white woman named Sandra out and be like, you raised a horrible fucking person.
Yeah.
Dennis, you raised a horrible son.
Wish your granddad wore a condom. Yeah.
Like,
that's great. He opened the line with, "I'm sorry that your man is your father." That's crazy.
I love the fact, because of course in Family Matters, rebuttal is like, of course, calling, Kendrick is like the black messiah, but you're with a mixed queen, your son is light skinned, you have your own issues with race, and then Kendrick comes around and goes like, I'll raise your son. I don't care. That's a black man to me. What are you gonna do?
That is literally. Hey, it's nice having another black person on the podcast.
I agree.
Yes. Look, never code switch, whether you're right or wrong, you're a black man. That's a bar. You could have ended the song with that.
Google a picture of Adonis and imagine Kendrick Lamar saying that to him. And just, it's insane. Like, But because it comes across so earnest.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. I think that
It's a lecture.
it does feel very earnest. I think another theme throughout this whole thing is like people have a problem with Drake being fake. He's not being himself. They wish he was being himself. It's like, we wish you were just making the music that you used to make that made us dance. We wish you weren't acting like a gangster. I wish you weren't coming here to appropriate our culture and all this stuff. It's like, you can just be you and probably still be successful, but now you're just being annoying and dabbling into things that you don't understand. Literally, he does not understand. Like, you listen to him around, and you did not understand it.
Yeah.
And I think Kendrick's kind of lamenting that in a bit, just like,
Definitely.
like, I don't know what happened to you that made you feel to need to be so fake about everything, and his insecurities have led him. They know his insecurities. I think that just led him to doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think they first it like whoever.
The powers that be.
The OVO, like. Drake is predictable because he's insecure and he does very insecure things.
Yeah.
And that is it's a reoccurring theme because he says in Euphoria, like, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acts up.
Yeah,
That is a
part of Euphoria. Is
that's a very real thing.
My hands and there won't be no threat.
Facts. And and I'll say it myself because I've had to come to terms with that, especially a black man that grew up in a white community. Like, don't act tough just to act tough. It's not your real personality. And so I feel like Drake is one of those people. Like, you grew up. I was watching a TikTok that kind of, again, I've listened to 1,000 conspiracy theories recently. It is a very real thing for a lot of black men that grew up in a successful household that, like, you're going to face a lot of adversity of people telling you you're not black just because you didn't struggle. Like, that alone, they're going to tell you that you're not black. So, like, one of the worst things you could do to someone in that scenario, and Brandon, we used to work with somebody like this. He wasn't black, but you know who I'm talking about. At the Blue Store that lived in Skokie.
More information.
At the Blue Store that lived in Skokie. He was a manager that liked to act tough.
You smelled real bad.
The worst thing you can do to someone like that is give them positive reinforcement. You didn't grow up like this. You have a good family. Don't do this.
You don't like that. No,
they're going to break down. They're going to lose it because the one thing they want to hear is, "Oh, you're a problem child. Oh, you're not doing what you were told. Oh, you're fitting in with the crowd." Kendrick is literally giving him like a man to son lesson. Like, be who you are. And that's crazy. Like, that's absolutely insane. And this whole entire song is a breakdown, not only to you, but the people around you that, like, hey, sorry he is the way he is. He strayed from the path. That's crazy.
It was one dance too far.
It's absolutely, this is a villain. Kendrick's a villain.
But in like the best way possible.
Magneto was right. Kendrick was right. Now, something I do think is very funny. Like, I remember someone, I don't know if it was you, showed me, because I'm not on TikTok right now. But I don't know if you showed it to me or you sent it to me. But it was a TikTok about, like, it was just people like doing bits as like Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick, and then like in the middle of this minute-long bit, someone comes out as Chris Brown, who's like, who's feuding with Quavo, the Migos, right now.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, does anyone wish that Quavo died instead of Takeoff? And then it was like Drake and Kendrick were both like, that's fucked up. We're not gonna go. And then this one, he's literally like,
then we went there.
People like this should die.
Yeah, I literally think people like this should die. He said that to his mom.
He said that about Drake to his mom. God, calling her by name. That's
it's
her first name.
Look, he said Whitney first. They told him not to bring family into it, and here we are.
And on to the biggest reveal of the thing.
A banger. The hidden child.
Yeah, he's hiding a daughter. I want to talk about that, like, because this is going to come up in the Heart Part 6.
Yes.
The idea that, like, he's feeding him fake information.
There's no way.
There's no way, there's no way this is his fake information. Because if it was fake,
why would you use this?
This has already happened before.
Drake disses our gender reveals.
Also, fact. Also, he put out an Instagram story, kind of denying it and being like, "Oh, can anyone find my
Instantly.
daughter?" But then
He did that
comes
instantly.
back and makes it seem like it's all one big plan, which it isn't. It was a last minute thing. This was not a they had. If that were the case, Drake would have dropped 10 minutes after this.
That's the biggest point right there. If you have that in your clip, if you have the power to be like, you're an idiot, you're listening to misinformation, you think you have a mole, but you don't have it.
Thanos DMs when he said Drake gave him a vegan cookie recipe.
Yeah.
This guy's not gonna drop the fake the DMs when Kendrick says he's hiding a second daughter.
Yeah, no, he needs, if that existed, that should have came out 5 minutes after Meet the Grams. Literally, it should have came out instantly.
Yeah, instead, we got an entire fucking other track that possibly blew up even harder than this. Actually, I don't even think it's possible. I think it actually is what happened.
Man.
Not Like Us broke Drake's one-day streaming record, actually.
Yep. It did.
Yeah.
It broke every record. 1 day, 2 day. It's still it's still breaking records.
Damn. It is insane. Just how thoroughly he dresses down Drake on this. Does he suggest that he's gay?
Yeah, the beard
talking about
the beard thing could be either gay or it's just keeping up appearances and being a demon.
Yeah,
being a degenerate.
I mean, he does say the line was everybody wants to be a demon, which is Future's middle name, but then you get pissed off at a throwaway, which is Future's old song.
Yeah.
It's a bar.
Yeah. God. It's nuts. And I don't think this is the biggest song of the weekend, but I think a lot of people are having some reactions to this that me and Purvis have had. We're me and Purvis still listen, do listen to Drake. I have a genuine emotional connection to
several songs.
To Take Care, and If You're Reading This, It Was Too Late. I have as emotional a connection to that than I do Good Kid, Mad City. But I'm skipping his songs, man. It just doesn't feel right. And I think this is the one that really
it just feels raw. On an Alchemist beat? What's wrong with you, Kendrick?
You spent 7 minutes abusing a Canadian to an Alchemist beat, and it made Rachel fall to the ground.
But still, it did not feel good.
No, yeah.
Get in my bonnet.
You were getting comfortable, ready for bed. Not gonna happen.
Get in the shower with my giant.
Yeah, we were literally let's watch this Drake diss before you get in the shower, and then before she even got into the shower,
there's more.
Kendrick dropped.
It was insane. I will say, as far as a collective experience, this top album. This top
tier.
This is
yes.
Family Matters and Meet the Grams are going to be my favorite album of the year.
It is the fact that, and I've already heard it, the fact that you can go, where were you when blank happens? It's already happening. Where people are like, where were you when Meet the Grams? I remember exactly where I was, exactly what I was doing, what I felt like. This is a very big deal.
Yeah. And it's now we're just waiting and seeing if something else is going to happen. But I guess we'll get to that when we finish talking about the tracks, because we still have
shaking.
Two
more tracks.
Possibly the biggest one, because this one drops when all four of us were in the same room.
I was dancing on his grave. Dancing on his grave.
It's such a danceable song. God, this is a triumph. Not Like Us. So, okay, he drops Meet the Grams at midnight on Friday, approaching Saturday morning. That's the heart. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So he drops Meet the Grams, and we're spending all morning
right. You're get over here right now. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're because it was also Jasper's birthday. Happy belated birthday to Jasper.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, we were all
We're all together in the room, and Jasper walks in and goes,
and we were already there talking about the diss with some people, and Purvis showed up several hours later, and then like maybe an hour after Purvis shows up, we're in the garage consulting with our good friend Mary Jane, and because a sudden rainstorm, and it just Purvis is just like, Kendrick drops.
we're all sitting at the table and Jasper's like, it dropped. I'm like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. He's like, no, it actually dropped. And I just walk out.
Yeah, I was like multiple drinks deep, and I saw it on my feed come up when I opened my phone to like somebody texted me, and I did not have the motor skills at the moment to like go into my Spotify and like find it. I felt like Steve Carell in that episode of The Office. Oh my God, it's happening! Everybody stay calm.
but you
did not do. We did not stay calm.
No,
it's the fact that like you said it so abruptly. Like we were in the middle of a conversation, you're just like, Kendrick dropped, and we're like, what?
Like, I was like,
I'm like, get out the way!
This needs to get out of my brain and into air as soon as possible.
You had not even listened to, and I want to talk about that. Like you did not.
You're in trouble.
No, it's not like
the
that.
fact that you waited. You had the strength to wait.
Well, I waited. I was waiting, and I was also fucking busy because I was like getting my house ready to have people over that weekend. So like when Meet the Grams dropped and Family Matters, it was like I was in the thick of just getting other stuff done.
I understand, but yeah, Not Like Us dropped. We all go running out the house. We're in the garage. I get a good listen in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am literally panicking in the corner by the door by myself.
It was so funny because like we were just talking, and then you're like, you look terrified, but you're also like dancing.
Yeah.
And then you just shout A minor, and you look shocked, and like a lot is happening to Purvis right now.
Yeah.
It's like, what's wrong with him? Like, listen to it.
It's like the.
You just gotta. It's like a storm. You just gotta. Like...
Yeah, it's like acid rap. 10-year part 2.
Man. Dude, it was a moment.
It was wild. But this is unlike any other song that Kendrick had dropped in this diss.
Kendrick doesn't drop a lot of songs like this in general.
No, yeah.
This is a West Coast bop on a mustard beat.
Yeah, this is like people were playing this in nightclubs Saturday night. Like it's
that night.
He is using it in rotation.
Yeah, no.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was on the NBA playoffs. Like
they were playing
what?
The Chicago Sky game. I was like, Rachel, do you want to go to a WNBA game and listen to a Drake diss?
Yeah, I do.
I'm so down.
But
yeah,
on top of that, like he just goes into him. Like this is there's no more pretense. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
There's so many bars. There's so many bars. And there were some that just flew up. I'm finna pass on this body. I'm John Stockton. That is a whole thing about Karl Malone being a pedophile. Yeah. Like that went over my head.
Yeah.
Just there's so many certified boogeyman. Like
beat your ass and hide the Bible of God watching.
A bar. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, no, it's a summer banger calling someone a pedophile. Even Drake himself in the next song, doing his monologue at the end of the song, was even saying like, "No, yeah, it's a good song." Like,
yeah. First off,
what? That fucking
appears on a diss track. It's over.
It's over.
Right. It's over.
Remember when it dropped? I said it was a white flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Meek Mill monologued after back to back. What was it? Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj when she dropped hers was mostly monologue. The second
I never listened to it.
It was mostly monologue. Bad, yeah. But yeah, it was once you start monologuing over a beat, it's like, okay, we're done here. Like
what was so genius about this song in reality, because I don't want to say this is a victory lap quite yet. It's close to that point. But like Kendrick was able to use his surrounding and his environment to his advantage. one thing that like, and honestly, all cultures do this, but I can only speak on like Black culture. A big thing is like, don't lose the recipe. Like, it's a very big thing for like generationally when you pass down recipes that you learn from your ancestors. Drake was able, because hip hop is very like, it's broken down like a map. You know who owns what section. Like Pac had the West Coast, Biggie had like Brooklyn, Nas had Queens. You have like Outkast in Atlanta. You represent that area, and everything around you is brought into your influences, and like you're able to give back to the community. This is a certified West Coast bop. I imagine Snoop Dogg heard this and called Kendrick and was like, "Good job, son." Like, it is so important that like he's able to use this. And in the song, he breaks down that Drake has colonized Atlanta and tried to steal their song. So now Drake can't even do that. Because in reality, what's Drake's sound?
There isn't one.
There isn't one. It's R&B. That's not gonna work in a diss battle.
Yeah, no, it's
And I just want to put something else in here that's really satisfying that I noticed today. A pair of Drake sneakers released today. I don't know if you all can see that.
Oh yeah, they did release today.
And they're sitting in every.
They're still
size.
available. They're still
Nobody's
available.
buying them.
yeah.
Nobody's buying them.
I forgot those dropped today. Yeah, no,
That fills me with such rambunctious joy.
dude,
I
I
love it.
was gonna get the certified lover boy Air Forces. No, I don't even want them.
You don't want the certified pedophile.
I don't even
ones.
want them.
Come
Like, I
on.
don't even want them
No,
anymore.
you don't.
You would not be able to wear those around anyone and not be like certified lover boy, because now
Yes.
because it used to be the name of an album. Now it's half of a bar, and the other half
Ancient.
is certified pedophile.
And every time you say certified lover boy, I'm gonna follow it with certified pedophile every single time.
Yeah.
Wop 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 wop.
Everything's like,
Duh,
I think
fuck
like
'em
the
up.
strategy of it is what's really just like killer, because that's Drake's strategy. Drake's strategy is like make something that
It's a
plays in the
hit.
club, and
Mhm.
Kendrick beat him at that.
Too.
Yeah, he beat him to it. Like,
And like beat him bad.
Yeah, I feel like this is wonderful because Kendrick has just gotten to show off like how beautifully he can write songs, how beautifully he can produce and make songs, the type
How
of songs
versatile
that
he
can-
is.
like how versatile he is.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
then, yeah, no, I have seen I saw a video of people just coming up with choreography to this song. It's like,
Yeah.
what's like, like they're just like breaking it down, and it's just like, yikes.
Yikes is the perfect way to put it.
Yikes, like, you can't
Yikes is the perfect way to put it.
dance. The pop dance dude can't. He got slapped with this.
Yeah.
Like Drake got slapped with this. Like I can make them dance too. What? It's like it's very good.
I literally told Brandon by the summer I'm gonna learn how to crip walk by listening to this song so
Yeah.
much.
I love how he calls him the 6'9" guy. Like,
Yeah.
Man,
roll they ass
Also-
up like a fresh pack of za.
it's crazy. Crazy. City is back up. It's a must. We outside. We outside all summer. They're not like us. No, this is a bop.
Can we talk about the try to strike a chord and it's probably A minor line?
Yeah.
It's so good.
This is like a quadruple and it is beautiful. There's things about this that aren't even on Genius that I've been looking at. It's wild.
Mhm.
So trying to strike a chord, probably A minor. A minor is a scale that uses no black notes on the piano, all white keys. So
Mhm.
there's that. And
I know.
Drake's song Teenage Fever is in the key of A minor,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like, I don't know. It doesn't get better. There's no coming back from this.
And like,
I was-
doesn't get
yeah.
better, and then Drake responded possibly in the worst possible way.
Totally.
With the note that doesn't exist.
Yeah. The note that doesn't exist. B sharp is just A minor.
Oh yeah.
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 like,
But yeah, it's yeah. He
Tell me
killed
you
him in
don't
every
write
way
your own
possible.
music without telling me you don't write your own music.
yeah.
That is very true. And what's even adding on to that, Jasper, because I've been watching a lot of content. I was listening to like a music theory like breakdown, and like if you actually go into like all of the songs in the disses, I'm pretty sure there's a breakdown where like he's actually going up the keys where like it perfectly leads into the A minor. It's just so much that goes into it. If he actually, I will say this. There's a lot of glazing going on both sides. And Kendrick glazing has been astronomical.
Yeah.
Like they've been coming up with theories. There's no way
Until
Kendrick thought of
week,
this.
The Kendrick
Sure.
glazing, I think, was the worst.
Yeah.
Like there's no way he came up with all this.
If anything, it's a fun coincidence, but I just love that it works the way it does, specifically for that line.
And it works out very well.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, this is the man who made To Pimp a Butterfly. I give him, like, that he probably thought all this stuff through.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And it's just, man, this was the knockout. I don't know if this is I wouldn't call this the victory lap. I feel like a victory lap would have to be after the Heart Part 6.
Which there might be one in reality.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
You're just gonna re-release the monologue from To Pimp a Butterfly all in one like long segment, re-recorded.
You just redo it just for Drake.
Misusing influence.
Talking about how much he hates Drake instead of how much
get the estate's approval for that.
But yeah, but I mean, he closes out. He says, "Are you my friend? Are we locked in?" And then we get the heart.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which, like, it's funny when I listened to it the first time. Brandon, you know, I said this is a white flag. Like this is how much I didn't like this song. It felt there's certain things that he says in the song. In my opinion, when you're in a rap battle, you're in a boxing match, you're in any kind of sporting event, you do not get to call when the opponent is dead. The ref comes in and says, okay, they're done. There's certain things in this song that like Drake was like, oh yeah, like this was a good exercise. Shut up. No, it wasn't. You don't get to say it's a good exercise. You get to keep fighting. This is your living chance to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Do not call it. So that's why I was like, this felt like a very clear step down in quality, and it felt like a white flag.
I agree with you. I think Family Matters I agree with you partly because I think Family Matters is legitimately as good of a song as the songs Kendrick has been releasing. I'll probably listen to it more than Meet the Grams, not more than Not Like Us. But
I agree.
This one just kind of feels, to me it feels a little limp. I guess the thing is, it's hard to say it feels like a white flag because he does still just go for Kendrick.
He does.
He does not let the Whitney allegations die. He does not let the Dave Free allegations die. You know, it is weird that at the end he does talk about how he actually liked that song. Yeah. So it is just insane to me. And yeah.
It's just it's not controversial in the sense where like it's causing issues. I mean, he's calling out Kendrick, but it's contradicting. Let me say it that way. It's very contradictory what he's talking about because he's like, we plotted for a week and then we fed you the information.
Yeah, I don't
then
know
like
that at all.
Right, a couple of lines later, he calls out those people for being idiots. Just like you just said, you sent them out to give misinformation. Which one is it? Like I'm confused. It literally doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't make any sense with the stuff it lines up about. And also the stuff he says about the pedophile stuff is just silly. It's just silly and like
bad takes.
I remember there was this Aziz Ansari joke talking about the R. Kelly stuff.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah, and he has a bit where it's like, you know, R. Kelly was in an interview and he's asked, like, do you find underage girls attractive? And he responds with, define underage.
Oh.
And
it's like yikes.
It's like, that is literally worse than if you would have said, oh, yeah. And it's like...
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like, this reminds me of that. It's like,
I'm too famous to... Sir, please.
Motherfucker.
The opposite of the Adonis lines in Meet the Grabs.
No. Like, I personally think I thought after Not Like Us, I thought Drake was gonna lawyer up.
I did too.
I thought he was gonna do like, you know, this is defamation.
Which is worse than a white flag.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, But you would be able to actually, one, put those rumors to rest because they would do an investigation. They would say, like, what do you have, Kendrick, if you have anything? But also, Drake, what did he post his text to his mom about how Rick Ross was being racist? Like,
yeah.
he's a
racist
bitch.
and
He runs to people and is like, I'm upset. And so the fact, I think Drake was set up from the beginning because, once again, there's 2 albums called We Don't Trust You, released seemingly at random, and now he's here. I think this was all just to push him to...
Very plotted.
And I feel like maybe they were debating, like, what they were going to release or what Kendrick was going to do for a while, but I do think this was like...
I have a question then. Mm-hmm. Like, just entertain the thought. How deep does the rabbit hole goes? Because you're right. A double album about hating Drake, featuring all the Drake haters, led by the greatest artist of our generation.
The most prolific Drake hater of our generation, too.
And this might be me coming off of watching Shogun on Hulu, which is a great show.
I've heard really good things.
All that show is just, it's chess. It's just chess moves. It's thinking, knowing what your opponent's gonna react, knowing the reactions of the reactions, and then they just fall into your lap. You just know how people are gonna act. And once again, Drake is insecure. I don't think he's a very subtle person. I don't think he has like the depth, not the depth, but like the finesse of it about him. So yeah, I think he got played into having to respond to pedophile allegations, and the best way to respond to that is, I don't think a song is a good way to respond to allegations like that. If someone calls someone a pedophile, you don't release a song about it.
Yeah.
You'd be like...
It's a trap card.
Yeah.
It's a trap card because if he doesn't release a song, it looks even worse. And if he goes legal action, that's worse than bowing out. That's worse than a white flag. In this genre and in this culture, going to the law is worse than everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a trap card.
What actually happened to Drake, or more accurately, his security guard, like,
got shot,
is more...
But that was XO apparently.
...happened in this genre than legal action.
Yeah.
But I agree, like, if you're a pedophile, like, you don't know... that's not something you address in the song, right? Like, I definitely would have... Because it kind of does sound like the Adonis thing, like when the Life of Adenon happened and he responded to that with a press release, right? And that was like kind of lame. I would not have had that same feeling of like, oh, that's kind of lame if he responded
for this
with legal action.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Because it's like,
it's a big deal. Well, at least to me, it's a big deal. Like, it's like, that's not light. Especially for someone who has just been known to hang out with young women underage and text them. It's like...
He brought up Millie Bobby Brown himself.
Unprovoked.
Yeah, no one else brought up Millie Bobby Brown.
And to be fair, the bar is only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby. Which, like, is an attack. But why say Millie Bobby Brown? Well, you could have said anything else.
Anything else.
And it's just like, dude, you're a weirdo. You act weird. You make people uncomfortable in some way. And we have the knowledge of, just pop culture that has been tracking that. Even people who aren't listening to pop,
they know.
They know about, they were reading TMZ. They know about him and like texting Millie Bobby Brown and hanging out with Billie Eilish and Justin Bieber's wife.
This is a big deal.
Like, it's just like,
yeah.
This is in the atmosphere.
Yeah. And what's he doing with people who are less famous?
Exactly.
And like, and the rumors about OVO in Toronto is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look at all.
Even like the rumors aside from like sex trafficking and pedophilia, even the stuff that doesn't include that is not good. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, this was the absolute like I don't think it's the most pathetic diss track I've ever seen. I wouldn't compare
No, not at
Like,
all.
I think if we're comparing it to the Meek Mill and the Nicki Minaj one, I think it's better than both of those. But it's not like this was the judges calling the round, and
Yeah,
round two goes to Kendrick again. Like,
you see the flaws that come into it because he himself, again, it feels like Drake, because he is typically more focused on being famous, like Kendrick said. He's typically more focused on the commercial aspects of the business. He is responding to everybody. He's trying to save face.
yeah.
The fact that you say this Epstein angle was something I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected.
Yeah.
You're responding to a TikTok. You're not responding to Kendrick. And the fact that your stance on why he went to pedophilia was because he was molested. There's so many layers to that like just logically doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And even if that was your stance, even if it did make sense, even if it was true, which it isn't in the song, if you listen to the song, why take that route? You could have did anything else.
Yeah, you're not gonna win over the people who might be concerned that you're a pedophile by
attacking people that get molested.
Yeah, like just making fun of someone who's molested. Like that's seems bad.
Yeah.
Which 10 times out of 10, not their fault.
Yeah. Good that you said 10 out of 10.
10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I gave the right number.
You did give the right number. It's a weird turn of phrase you chose. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow. Like
every time it is not their fault.
It feels like a fumble. I feel like he was just a little desperate, and I also feel like it would have been okay if he tried to take some time to
100%.
Take time, yes.
Yeah, it definitely would have been okay for him to take time.
Because the rumors are already out there. You're not going to save face by rushing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't rumors anymore. It was the certified pedophile being sang in every nightclub across the country.
Yeah.
I was hoping so much that the DJ at Gunna was going to play. I would have been screaming my head off.
Is this a song that finally overtook Like That? Because I know Like That has been #1 through a Taylor Swift release, which is nuts. You know,
that is nuts.
Look, I don't like Taylor Swift, but I understand
None of us do.
the magnitude she brings,
the impact that she makes.
You know, like, so staying at #1 through a Taylor Swift release is
impressive.
You know, and there is technically one more song, not technically, but haven't been seeing it as much as everyone else in this, and that's BBL Drizzy. I have heard it. It is very
classic.
good, and I do just love the idea that he dissed him with a beat. I do.
He did exactly what he asked. He told him to make some drums, and like, to be fair, okay, I guess we should have did that first. BBL Drizzy was before this song was released, and I think it just proves the point again. Metro might be one of the best producers ever. I think he is starting to make a real claim for himself to be one of the best ever. Now, I understand there's a lot of good producers out there. I'm not going to go too crazy with the claims. But at least right now, he is one of the biggest in the game, because the fact that you had an idea to do exactly what Drake told you to do, release it for free, have a competition of people around the world. We've seen, we've seen disses in Japanese. We've seen disses in Spanish. We've seen disses in French or French.
Guitar covers.
We've seen guitar covers. We've seen people make cookies about.
It's a lot. The cookies. He hasn't seen the cookies yet, but yeah.
It's insane. There's a 17-year-old that's trending right now for the best response, and then Metro goes even further and says, "You know what? I'm gonna make this more interesting. It's unlimited disses. Whoever has the best gets $10,000. Whoever comes in second gets another beat." It's genius. These are mind games.
It really was. Look, Metro took a huge L over the weekend too, but
he did.
This was good. This was fantastic.
Genius move. Love to see it.
I will say one of my favorite reactions to the diss was not this. In fact, it's a bit of a tangent, but Questlove was talking today, and he was
Yes.
he said hip hop is dead, and he's like, it's never been this personal before, which I just disagree with. Like go
It's
listen
been
to No
personal.
Vaseline, go listen to Shoot 'Em Up. This shit is a throwback, not an invention.
I was gonna say Tupac died. Like, shut the fuck up, Questlove.
Yeah, right.
Go play some drums.
That's exactly what people were saying. Is that someone that was the point I was getting at? Is that someone took Questlove and what Questlove, shut your whole ass up and play some drums.
Sit down.
Real,
Be humble.
very, very real.
Oh my god.
Very, very real.
But yeah, no, it's what an insane cavalcade of just. Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm just like looking at the lyrics and it's like, wow,
Oh, like I'm telling you, pulling up lyrics makes you think differently about it.
Yeah, because your name's
You
awesome.
idiot, because it's not your name. It's not your name.
Oh, another thing I want to touch on while we're on the record, the cover to like that is insane. It is insidious. Like
that's different.
Yeah,
that is different.
Yeah, the OVO compound with all the pedophile symbols from Citizen.
No. Oh, you mean the Not Like Us?
Yes, Not Like Us. Yeah. Mm. It goes hard. And what's interesting, a lot of people actually don't know this. The Meet the Grams cover is black because you can't have personal
information.
You can't put someone's personal information on the cover.
Yeah. It was originally a zoomed out image of the Maybach gloves. It was like a layout on a
with
bed
the bottle,
the shirt and the bottle and the receipts and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that from the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yep. I do have 2 questions before we get off the topic. Then.
No, this is our main topic. We can answer as many questions as you want. Go ahead.
The outro. Is this one of the worst things you can do in a diss track?
Yeah.
No, just do a monologue.
I think that is, especially if you're like, oh, I could have danced to that song if you weren't on some bullshit. Like,
should have just cut it out altogether then.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Are you finding more lyrics, Rachel?
Man, it's like spoken word.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I guess the last thing is, because this has been the biggest counter argument to what's going on from Drake fans. I will say this. Kendrick's winning. I think it's very fair to say Kendrick's winning.
Won this first
yes.
2 rounds. And if this is the end, Kendrick won.
Yes. I respect the fight that Drake put up. Now, I would say this. If what he's saying is true, just to entertain the thought, if he fed information, does this change anything for you guys?
No. Because at the end of the day, like, we all talk about the daughter thing, because it's just insane that happened twice. It's just a bonkers thing that happened. And it's also just the kind of thing you wouldn't feed someone. You wouldn't feed someone.
I have a counter to that.
Okay. But you wouldn't feed someone something that's already happened before, because it would set off some bullshit meters unless you had some proof.
Yeah.
But the thing we're talking about is the pedophile claims, which he has done a very bad job of refuting, and like pretty much hasn't at all, actually. So it's not great. And like, I don't know. I do think it's like kind of wild for Drake to be the kind of person he is, to kind of body the kind of person he is, and like kind of like represent women the way he does in his music. And then take shots at Kendrick about like his connection to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
It's like, don't get me wrong.
It's a true thing that happened.
That's a real thing that happened, and jury's still out on some very important things about Kendrick. But I think if you go back and listen to Kendrick's music, I don't think he demeans women in his music nearly the same way as Drake. Right? Like, this is the guy who did Keisha's song.
This guy that did a lot of songs we can do as an example of why he's a good person.
Anti-Diaries, which is flawed, but I wouldn't call it bigoted, So yeah, what did you want to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I don't think this happened. The only reason why, if like the daughter allegations are not true,
Yeah.
once again, I'm stuck in Shogun land. You can do the thing where you feed different people different information, see what comes out to see them all. But
they did that in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They did, yeah.
That's a thing that happens, but it doesn't make sense that that would be the piece of information you feed, because one, people were gonna go wild over that. That just drew so much more attention to that song, where he's also just ripping you apart. And I think people like, if it's not true, people still like the idea, like, oh my god, this guy is so lame, it happened twice.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be the wrong move, or like that, it would not make sense to do that piece of information. It, like, why would you give such a...
It's too strong.
Misleading?
Why would you give him the ammo of, like, your weakest flaw? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, I think there might be some reason, there could be some reason to it, but I still think it failed.
Yeah. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
But I also don't think Drake was smart enough to do that.
Right, and it's also like, once again, like, it seems like that's the only claim he's saying was, like, fake. Because, like, it doesn't seem like because, like, even in the song, he's like, the pedophile shit you're dissecting from TikTok. He's like, we didn't feed you that. He's saying the daughter is the thing they fed him.
Yeah, it is like, the daughter's part.
And it's like, does it make any sense, right? So, yeah, I am with you right there, Purvis. I do think Drake did a decent attempt. We got 2 good diss tracks out of him. That's more than you get out of most diss runs nowadays. You know? But I just, it was bad. It was a wallop.
It looked pretty bad by the end of it all, for sure.
First time, dear baby girl. It's like,
that's when I passed out.
Yeah. Oh, and something I did see, like, and I noticed
I fell.
Yeah, she literally fell.
I was already very close to the TV. I was already kneeling near the TV, and then I fell over.
Yeah. But, like, something I will say, and, like, look, I would like to know whether or not Kendrick beats up his wife. You know, I would like to know that. But I will say this was going around that, like, Whitney's brother's really active on social media. And apparently he said, like, the whole family is on Kendrick's side.
Okay.
And it's like,
this is true. Her own brother was, like, tweeting, like, keep going.
Yeah, he was, you know, so I don't think, because that's the thing, right? It's like so much of everything Drake says about Kendrick, like, the only thing that doesn't come from his music is, like, the R. Kelly thing. But, like, you know, the fact that he cheats on Whitney with white women, that was a Mr. Morale. You know,
right.
Like, so much of it was just from his music that, like, that's what I said earlier. I think he's just misinterpreting the album cover.
I do have a question, because at least immediately responding to that, that's why I want to jump in. There are claims that people are saying that just because it's known information doesn't diminish the impact.
It does, though.
Why?
Because Pusha T changed the game with the story of Adidon, and since then, beef has just been about that, pretty much.
And I think that's a
what I'm saying, like, known information.
But it's not,
because Pusha T wasn't that. We didn't know Drake had a son.
But that's what I'm saying. If we had known that, and he were just like, yeah, you're neglecting your kid, it would not have had the splash impact of, like,
that's been the whole
there's a kid. Like, it's a different context.
That's what I'm saying. In a sense of, because this is more towards Kendrick. Just because Kendrick addressed it in Mr. Morale doesn't mean it didn't happen. Okay.
Okay, because I was, I maybe it's not directly addressing that, but with the allegations that Kendrick was abusing Whitney, and the fact that he either did not feel the need to address it, or maybe it didn't happen, my thing might have been, maybe it's already been reconciled. Because it reminded me of Lemonade by Beyonce, where we're getting this album, I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh my god, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, I hate him. And then, boom, second act, he's there. It's like, oh yeah, they're still married, they have gone through this together. They're talking about their healing, their past. They're like, so yeah, if Kendrick had, like, if it's true and if Kendrick has reconciled this with Whitney, comes to term, maybe that's why they separate, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that does matter because
Did you forgive Jay-Z?
it kind of, I guess.
Okay.
You still listen to Jay-Z.
I do still listen to Jay-Z.
Okay.
Because Beyonce's not my friend. If she had been my friend, no, I would never forgive Jay-Z because I don't forgive people who screw over my friends.
Extremely fair. That is extremely fair.
But I think that's the weight of it. It's the weight of like, okay, I've done bad things, but this is in the past. This may have been known. I may have addressed it, but you addressed it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Compared to hiding things and trying to actively cover up stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it does have the optics of like, oh, well, this person was at least good enough to talk about how wrong they were versus this person is still hiding or trying to.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do think it does matter a little bit on that end.
Yeah, it's nuance, right?
Yeah.
That nuance matters of like, there's a difference between like hiding nefarious actions and then like, yeah, this is a thing that happened that we are now past, you know?
Yeah. Where are you in the timeline of healing? Because if we meet you at the point of like, okay, I've corrected it, then yeah, it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Where Drake has not,
And
if
like,
it's true, has not corrected it.
Yeah. And it is like, you know, it seems like, because like, I don't know, I didn't know Whitney's name until this recently. Or
That's why I said when he mentioned it in Euphoria, I was like, huh?
Because like they mention it in Euphoria and in Push-Ups, like they drop like Whitney bars, and like I didn't even know they were talking about Kendrick's wife. Like I knew that he had like a long-term girlfriend like ever since high school, and like I think it's because something I had read a long time ago was just that her and specifically her, but also Kendrick are just like aggressively private people. You know, I think the only time she would come out is if this was something that was like actively happening. You know, because like if this is like, I don't think someone is likely to violate their own privacy to either A, talk about shit they moved past, or B, talk about shit that's not real. You know?
Ooh, yeah.
I think, don't get me wrong, I would still rather live in a world where Whitney came out and was like, Kendrick didn't do this shit, fuck Drake. I would rather live in that world. But I'm just saying, like, you know, all of this stuff is not meaningless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, this is insane.
Watching Drake get his back broken like Batman over Kendrick's knee, is this what God feel like?
Yeah. God, you.
I know what you're talking about.
It's wild. It is wild that this is where we are.
Jasper.
This has been extremely cathartic for me. You two don't understand, but I'm just saying.
This is the best week of your life.
as a white Jewish man, I also know a white Jewish man, and I think Drake's full of shit on a lot of counts. So
yeah,
it's the whole thing. It's a whole other thing, but whatever.
Yeah, no. And listen, I've been saying that, like, me and always been saying that when Kendrick and Drake does happen, because this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Ever since Control, you know, like,
it was cooking.
I knew Kendrick would wind up on top, like, just because, like, you know, I remember one time I had a old YouTube channel that's not active anymore. I did like my top 50 like favorite artists, and like, yeah, Drake and Kendrick were both on that list. Kendrick was 2, and Drake was 50. Like, so it's like,
I don't know. I feel I do have also my personal stake in this is like, ever since the whole Drake texting Millie Bobby Brown thing, I was just like very put off of Drake, and just like didn't have anything else to like be like, I guess. But he just read as just like a strange dude, and anytime I start reading someone as a strange dude, something comes out. This has happened to be
several
times
consistently.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, if you get a bad vibe, there's usually a reason.
I think for me, like where it clicked for my bad, because from a guy's perspective, I don't have the same worries, obviously. So like it might just go over my head. The way that it clicked for me was the engagement ring necklace. We made a necklace out of 42 engagement rings, and that's
Cringe.
how many times that he was going to propose and didn't. I was like, that's like, if you really think about it, that's scary. That's really scary.
Might have proposed to like 42 various women, but
Or
then to
rejected
make
42 times.
rejected 42 times. But then you make who makes a necklace out of the rejection? Like, yikes! Like, calm down, you weirdo. Like, that's the vibe.
Man, that certified lover boy cover is really coming back to haunt him.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, that was my breaking point.
Yeah, no, this is. Well, I mean, Drake's numbers have hit a and that's the thing, right? Is that like I don't give a shit about numbers, but Drake does, and like his numbers
That's what's hurting.
are falling huge,
Rapidly.
not Drake's, Kendrick's have exploded.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if in a month is Kendrick going to be the most streamed rapper in the world.
That would be really cool.
I think it probably.
Drop the album.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well,
Kendrick dropped the album.
Yeah. If you get, like,
To be fair,
Good Kid, Mad City 2, I Hate Drake.
there's a line in Heart Part 6 that is along those lines that I gotta say is just one of the of all the falsehoods that have been told throughout this entire thing. This is probably the greatest one. Album dropping soon. No wonder you turned to a clout chaser instead of doing hard labor.
Yep, he did say that.
So who does hard labor? The guy who's known as the Six God, who releases an album every year that scores a 6.5 out of 10, or the guy who releases an album every 4 years that wins everything that it touches? It's like, come on, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, it's not even a competition at this point, right? And like, yeah, I remember like waking up on Saturday morning and being like, "Is this shit even fun anymore?" And then not like us dropping was like, "Yes, it is." Like,
It is fun. Yes, absolutely. I was definitely like, man, this might be too far. No, it's not. Keep it going.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
Thank you for dropping a banger right after like the darkest track I've heard in the last decade.
Purvis, you can also tell Jenna I told you so.
That is fair. I will let her know.
Yeah.
All right, but shall we take a break from our coverage? This is a bit I was saying at Jasper's party. I really want to make like a fake trailer that's like a parody of the Civil War trailer, K24's Civil War, and it's like about this beef. We're just like walking in the stores that are playing, I don't know, Taylor Swift or whatever, and it's like, you guys do know there's a serious rap beef going on right now.
That are like the what kind of American are you?
What
And it's
kind
like,
of hip hop head are you? Like,
yeah.
Six God.
Will we be back? I don't know. Will we be back next week? We'll see. I'm excited.
Will we be back to? I don't know. The weekend's about to start again, and everybody dies on the weekends.
Oh, Drake is dropping. I mean, Drake is dropping. Future's dropping, and he was a part of the diss at one point.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, he did make the 2 albums, the We Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You. I can see why they didn't name the second one We Gonna Shoot You.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because, like, yeah. I don't know if you know about the Metro Boomin thing. Where it's like, his, like, little tagline with Future is like, we don't trust you, we're gonna shoot you.
If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm a...
Yeah. About that.
Yeah. I'll be like, well, then it started happening.
And someone got shot.
And then someone got shot.
Then somebody got shot.
History repeats itself. As I said, like 20 times this week.
History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Like,
all right. Should we close
let's
out?
do our recommendations and get out of here and go prepare for more disses.
If another diss happens tomorrow, I'm just telling them I'm not going to be working.
I won't be coming in.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be on the phone and be like, sorry, got cancer. Like,
I mean, we got an hour and a half. So if one of us gets a text in an hour and a half, we know what happened.
Just put it in the Discord. We're all in there. Like, okay. So, do you want to go first? You want to recommend the song first?
Sure.
She knows the rules.
I think I do.
Oh yeah, I forgot the rules.
So
What rule?
So my recommendation is my first one is Big Boss by Amindi, featuring Jean Carter. It's very she's R&B, but she's very cool, very sexy, but very young millennial. And then my other one is
We do it round robin.
oh, sorry, go.
It's okay.
I did not know the rules. You know.
Yeah. I didn't think.
There's like 2 rules to be fair. You got halfway there.
It's okay. Okay, I'll go with mine. This week's my birthday. I've just been listening to my favorite songs to just get through the week because I've just been trying to just get through the week. So I'm gonna recommend. I don't know. This might be the best song ever written. Don't Like by Chief Keef, and not Don't Like .1. Not Don't Like .1. I mean the real Don't Like.
Not the one where Kanye says if they don't use a strap on, then they're not dykes. Not that one.
I do like that one. But no, I'm recommending Don't Like. The
There you
one
go.
who, the lyrics I just can't say, but it's very good.
To read them to you.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Maybe before bed.
Well, you did say fake shoes. That's that shit I don't like. That's
true.
an acceptable section.
Oh my god. All right, Mooks, who wants to go next?
Jasper.
BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy.
It is so good.
Had to be done.
It is so good. It is
Had to
so
be done.
good.
I've been singing it all day, just walking around my house.
Yeah.
It just sounds. Oh god. When the beat drops,
Oh, it's so fun. It's a very, very fun diss track.
the best BBL in history. All right. My first one then. This is actually a song that did come out this week. I didn't put it in the news. This is also one of my golden childs. This is one of the younger ones that like I was like, oh, you guys should get into. Sleepy Hollow bangs.
Yeah,
It is so good.
I've listened to
He
some
is
Sleepy Hollow
so
songs.
good. Yeah. He dropped a song that's actually been all over TikTok already, so it's had a ton of promotion. Winners in Paris.
I can
You
say
can
that.
Yes, you can say this one. It did drop with a music video. Honestly, I'm very, very excited. I love this discography so far, and it seems like it's only stepping up from there. So I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is Out of My Mind by, I believe it's pronounced Chloe the God. It's all one word. I don't really know how to describe her style of music, but this one is very interesting because she usually does, I guess, R&B hip hop style, but it's a rock song. And she just really just sings. She just screams her lungs out, and it's so good. And I deeply relate to it. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going absolutely out of my mind. It's like that's kind of what it feels like in a song, in a good way.
Yeah.
Part 1 or part 2? I'm looking at it now.
Out of My Mind?
Yeah, there's like a part 2. I might have just put you on, I guess.
I don't.
No, this
see
is
it.
from the Nearly Straight album.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There's a single here.
Yeah, it should just be the single. She has the.
Okay. Bet.
All right, my next one is, listen, there's been a whole lot of talk about killing people and grabbing chains, and that's one of my favorite subjects in hip-hop history. As a matter of fact, it's the subject of my favorite group of all time on my favorite album of all time. I'm recommending Close Your Eyes and Count the Fuck by Run the Jewels.
Okay.
Get Killer Mike for the Not Like Us remix.
Jesus, please.
Do you have any idea? Listen, I'm just saying, if people really missed when rapping was about rapping, then Killer Mike would go platinum.
A bar.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
It's a Kendrick Lamar bar.
All right, Jasper.
I'm going another Kendrick song this week just because that is the mood.
It's hard not to just be like, yes, give me all the Kendrick.
I'm going Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst.
This song's
Ooh, nice. A story.
When Drake sits at home upset he can't make music that good, he's just, he wipes his eyes with the $100 Canadian bills. It's like, all right, well,
$100 Canadian bills.
an attempt. The fake plastic money. It's funny. Canada gets really cold, and it's like the money actually freezes and falls apart because it's made of plastic and not paper.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking Canadians.
Whole country's a fucking theme park.
Yeah. Yeah, stop.
Guys, please. That's our escape when America goes to war.
Oh yeah, the whole 10 miles of border towns that are gonna exist.
Wait, did you say border towns?
Popping quarter pounds from Canadian.
You know what's happens
quarter
next.
kilograms. Quarter kilograms from the Canadian border towns.
That's the 9/11 border. I like the southern border. Like...
Ah.
All right, I'm ending the podcast. I'm closing us out with Lucky.
Make it stop.
Yeah, I'm closing it out with Lucky. The song's Why Not. It's a banger. Brandon already knows I'm in the Lucky phase.
Yeah, you're in a Lucky phase. It's worse.
I'm
than
here
the
for it.
Future phase. It's way worse
Hey.
than the future phase.
What can you do? I'm in the dirt here.
We do what we can. All right. Well, this was probably the most news-packed episode we've ever done. We did not talk about a single album in depth, and we are at 2 hours.
An easier episode.
And it was your first episode.
Yeah.
You got to come on.
I did.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're invited anytime you want.
I'm gonna start busting in the door.
You literally could. Nobody would stop you.
No one can stop me. That's my power.
She knows what she has, and she uses it with great prejudice. Just like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility.
That's exactly what she's gonna do.
With great power comes great responsibility.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Same unpaid time, same unpaid place. The internet.